Wow. So much has changed.
So quickly.
So quickly.
We've moved from such fast-paced city lifestyle into slow down, intentional living on an eco-village circus farm, seemingly overnight. And do we have a lot of experience when it comes down to living like this? No. And have we always wanted this? Yes. And so
are we total noobs in the garden? Yes.
Yeah. And so so we've been documenting it on our media and just being really transparent about the process. Thankfully, when you put out the intention to want to do something really cool, miraculous things can happen. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden we have a really beautiful man who's in his older age, and he wants to work on this farm, on our friend Ethan's farm here with 10 acres of land, doing this magical, amazing permaculture experience. And so he was taught by the legend of permaculture, Bill Molson, and he was his apprentice. Mm-hmm. And so now he's here in his older age wanting to really guide us along in learning all these tips and tools and make it into a legendary project. Yeah. On top of that, his friend is also just the most creative individual ever. She is amazing. She's super wild and super eccentric, and we love her for it. And she's been bringing her heirloom seeds from childhood all the way from Ontario over here and really guiding us into how to slow down with the earth, really listen to what the plants need, where and why, and all the specifics that go into it. One wrong move and you could impact a whole section of your garden, right? So it's really important not to be like, oh, we planted it, it's done, move on. Like there's so much little details, and it comes with a lot of great care. And it's amazing watching her because she's just in this intuitive pulse where she moves through the land. And I know that we have that, we all have that, but to be able to really nurture that now, after years of kind of pushing it off to the side just to get forward, move forward in like modern city life, is a radical shift for us. And I'm really proud of us.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been stepping out of our comfort zone big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sucking at things in order to get good and learn and be total novices and be with people who actually know what they're doing and
passionate,
showing us the ropes, because these things are life-changing skills to be able to grow food from seed and then harvest the seed is like, why did they not teach us this in school? And why doesn't everybody do this? Yeah, it's interesting how it came into our laps this way. So we're very, very grateful.
It's amazing. And, you know, people come by and there's big bonfires and we're eating really local, beautiful meats and veggies, and we're juggling and we're laughing and we're dancing and we're celebrating the richness of life, which we've always done in our own unique way, in our own little bubble. But now to be able to, boom, really spread our wings and be able to do it in such beautiful land startles us every day. It's like this breathtaking, like, wait a second, there's a big canvas of possibility here. And soon I'm going to be actually working on the farm for exchange, of monetary exchange, and just like really building up how to make this like the ultimate home. And we're going to be documenting as much as we humanly can the process of this development, from building things, designing things, maps, layouts, and just really bring you along the journey. And most importantly, showcasing very transparently how that evolves our relationship together and how romantically that changes things. And obviously we're in such a new life right now. We're just like finding our footing with each other, but we're seeing new ways of loving and falling in love with ourselves with each other. That has been absolutely breathtaking already. And it's been like less than a month. So where's it going to be in a few months or a year or whatever? It's quite limitless.
Yeah, we've definitely been exploring all these different aspects of ourselves. I'm facing my fear of worms.
You should have seen Ella. She was like, and like running away. And we're like, Ella, you have to be okay with that, because this is such a huge piece of the miraculous beauty of nature and in gardening. But
these people you've come a long way. Love their worms, man.
Worms
they
are
love
great.
Their worms.
Worms are important.
I'm just like,
thank you, worms.
Dear God, please help me to love these creatures. Because we've been building these worm hotels.
These like
piles,
soil compounds.
And the worms are helping us, and
Yeah.
they're gonna help us grow our
See,
food.
oh, they're good. They're good.
Yeah. And our intention for the next few months is to grow these plants and hopefully be able to supply a lot of the food for our wedding with the food that we grow from seed.
So watch us do this. This is going to be such a big feat for us.
Yeah.
Growing anything alone is, but especially knowing that in September, 4 months away, we're going to be getting married, and we want to be able to reap this beautiful harvest that we're going to be very studiously being very dedicated every day to try to make this happen. And so we've been growing
watering the garden
beans and marigolds and onions and butternut squash and the whole thing.
Zucchinis and tomatoes.
Strawberries, it just keeps going.
Garlic and onions.
Lots of blueberries.
Lots of herbs.
Whoa. And there's still more to plant this week. It just keeps going. But
more flowers.
I was really reflecting recently like how much it mirrors our relationship with ourselves, obviously in nature, and our relationship with people that we love, and how we nurture that, you know? And so, yeah, I would love to hear about your relationship with the garden, how it's related to our relationship, and yeah, just how that's been for you, because it's so new.
Well, for going, like living in a condo for 11 years and trying to grow things on a deck, which thank God my deck is like one of the sunniest ones in the building. And I was actually able to grow quite a bit of things. We've grew cucumber, I grew a watermelon once, lots of greens, strawberries, lots of things, but also not being connected to the earth it's actually a totally different thing when you have things growing in the ground. And for me to actually be able to walk out and have my feet in the earth, like trying to be so connected to the earth in a way where I don't get overwhelmed on like a day-to-day basis, because I know I can just like stop whatever I'm doing and I can just walk outside and have my feet in the grass and just breathe. I couldn't do that in a condo. Like you think that you would just like, oh, the grass is right there, just go outside, but you don't. You really don't, because you're like, oh, it's just like, it's such a mission to like get out there. And so it's a different lifestyle to be living in a beautiful space where you can actually just walk outside and be like with the plants. And it feels like I'm like reborn. Like, I'm like, where has this been all my life? Like, yeah, I've had, you know, access to friends' gardens, and my mom's always had beautiful gardens. So I've had these things in my life, but to actually be living day to day in this reality feels like the biggest gift. And yeah, it feels like my soul is like, oh, I've needed this and I've wanted this. And I think we all do in, you know, our fast-paced modern world. It just feels like we're all so disconnected, and we're all touching our phones before we're touching the earth. And there's something really twisted about that. And so, you know, coming back to like the realization that there is no disconnection, there is no separation. We are of the earth, and we will return to the earth, and being reminded of that every day when we're communing with the plants and when we're taking care, and realizing that these are the things that actually matter. Like we look at politics, we look at all the craziness that's happening, but at the end of the day, what really is affecting us is how we're spending our moments, how we're actually living, how we're breathing, how our nervous systems are. These are the things that actually matter. And yeah, the world, like things have to get worse before they get better. And I feel like that's where we're at right now in a society. But if we can remember to return to these simple pleasures of just like going outside and breathing and listening to the birds. And even if you do live in a skyrise and you don't have access to a garden, even just going outside and just listening to the birds and feeling grateful.
Use what you have.
It's just like, these are the things that really shift our mindset and our perception of ourselves as we go through life. We just can remember that these are the simple things that can ground us. And it's so important to just slow down and come back to those, like connecting to the elements and just like, being in reverence and being in like humble servitude of like the things that actually sustain us physically and emotionally and mentally. and spiritually.
When you get your mind right, and when you get your body right, and you get all these things, which obviously is impacted by environment, and just by making this radical shift, it is dramatically set us into a better nervous system. And then from there, you're able to articulate, express, go out into the world and make your dreams happen on such a bigger level. The fact that we could also bring people to this land, and they naturally have the right people, the city planners, the designers, the co-creators, the investors, they come because they're like, right, this is the feeling of something that we wish to like actually grow roots into the dreams.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing how resilient we can be without realizing that we're slowly dying in the resiliency that we're constantly going through, and glorifying it and being proud of it. And to a degree, great, like you're pushing forward still, which is still saying a lot about your spirit and the power it is. But sometimes your spirit needs to relax. It needs to be in more softness. And it depends on how privileged you are in this world. Obviously, we're in beautiful Western Canada with beautiful climate and opportunity. But if you can go to at least to a city park more often, or volunteer or be more involved in the community in some way, that's what we did, that at least brought us baseline as we were going through so much. Now we can really be like, okay, how can we bring forward our gifts more to the community now that we're building one, and also able to cast off our influence and our ability outwardly? Whether it's education for children and permaculture, and flow arts learnings and teachings, and just like different forms of education that involve play and creativity in nature. And so that's something that for us, which is why we're doing it, we know from our own unique sense why it matters so much. It's changed our lives for the better. And we've seen others around us be completely changed. But if we were children again, and we had this opportunity, I would really hope that adults would really step up, and that they would get funding and they would get support to be able to create that. So this is really something that we're planting seeds in right now, and declaring that we are setting this intention to really put more energy towards supporting the youth and the elders and the community at large to be able to actually receive the gifts that we have been privileged enough to land in, and to be able to offer our passion, which is really just about movement and expression and transparency, and being in right relation with, God, nature, us, which is all it, and really do it in a way that our heart is leading and not our egos. So follow along for that. And if you feel any inkling of curiosity, or you want to open the discussion in the comments, please do. We're learning as we go, okay? We, who knows? But we know lots of people that are wanting and are willing to support, and that's really what matters. And you go from there. Just like being like, what kind of seed is this? What sort of soil? Same thing with, I have a dream, where and why and how, and what sort of material, and who, and what timeline, and you go from there. So from the microcosm of the garden all the way to the macrocosm of the bigger picture and more, there's a great possibility here.
Yeah. And we would love to hear your ideas. If there's anything that you've been brewing in your spirit that you've always wanted to see come to life, and there's a possibility for this land to be a safe haven for, ideas to come to life, please share, because right now there are many, many things that can happen, and many potential timelines. And so right now we're just like focusing one day at a time, and
just documenting it.
Yeah.
Going from there.
Being open to the miracles, and just enjoying every moment. So.
I'll leave it on this part, is that there was a beautiful person that we had recently met who is actually a key player. It's usually how it works. As you kind of set out the intention and you move with it in playfulness and love and appreciation, people come in, they feel the energy, and they want to talk. And so this person did, and they felt the call. And the next day or two after, they came over, and we had a bit of a bonfire and a bit of a time to connect. She brought a beautiful harp. We started playing things, and we started like talking and deep story and discussion. And she looked around, and she was like, whoa. Like, you don't realize how much you're missing that level of community nourishment until you receive it, I think. It's kind of like you don't know what you don't know. And we often crave connection, but we're not allowing or simply in spaces that really offer it. And so we can only go to oh so many cafes and oh so many places, and then we're just like, okay, we got like a little hit of like connection, but not something that could be nourished over time, and where you actually are seen and appreciated for what you have to offer. And I saw tears just like rolling down our eyes, and it was just in general over like the depth of gratitude for just simply being invited, being there, and we want more of that more than ever. And it really reminds us, oh, wow, we are a product of our thoughts. We become what we think about most of the time, is what Earl Nightingale said. And that's truth, is that we believed and we knew that we deserved it, and we would do whatever it takes to get there, and in the most honest and real and transparent actions, which sometimes take a little bit longer, just because you're not trying to sideswipe somebody or trying to mess with somebody to get somewhere for greed, but you genuinely want to do it out of a good heart.
Yeah.
It takes a bit, but it's a million times more rewarding. So yeah, guys.
Well said, babe.
Thanks, babe. I'm going to show you guys a little panorama before we leave. Just got lots of new soil and putting it into the earth. Lots of trees. This is the living room. It's a beautiful morning view here. Lots of pasture and field. And the garden. There are some chestnut trees delivered today by a friend. Making bone broth. Yeah, welcome to our paradise. It keeps going. It goes on and on and on and on. But here's the front area.
Oh, you're just heading out now. I'm heading out too.
Okay, I love you guys.
Are you taking off?
Talk to you later.
Yeah.